Hey, 5-0, let's go. Welcome to the Wise Guys, the largest BYU sports live stream show in the whole world and the most watched collegiate sports live stream talk show on YouTube. And last I checked, YouTube was pretty big.
Wow, that's exciting, right?
That is exciting.
Whenever you say that, I get excited about it. And so, hey, and Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, Eddie, and Mountain America Credit Union. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. Watch for this week's podcast tomorrow, wherever you get your podcasts.
We want the whole live stream to be hopping tonight because the team's undefeated. They're at 18th in the country. Basketball starts in a couple weeks. This is a sweet time to be a BYU fan. We'll try to give out as many shout-outs as we can, but let's comb the world. There's so much going on in sports, but Wise Guys is going on right now, and we invite you to subscribe to our free email at wiseguys.com. You'll love that. It's highlights from every show. And then we'd love you to hit the free subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Just go like, and that helps us build.
Is that the noise it makes?
Just goes, it does for me because I'll do it like I do it.
I think for me it goes.
Yeah. So you got to make or either one of those sounds is gonna get you there. Let's tell you what we've got coming up tonight.
Now let's start with a BYU West Virginia recap, including some sound from Kalani Sitake. Where looks back and looks forward for us.
Preview Arizona. Pat Patterson on the alumni board for BYU will join us in a few minutes, talk about all the activities. When BYU comes to town, as you all know on the stream, it's a big deal.
Absolutely. And then Jay Drew is going to join us, the beat writer from the Deseret News. He'll give us his grades for BYU football through the first 5 games. We're going to ask him to grade a bunch of different things regarding BYU football.
Yeah, well, hey, what do you think of the receivers? Give us a number.
He's going to grade position groups on offense and defense for us.
BYU Utah TV details are out. We'll talk about that. Kevin Young signs another #1 ranked player for the basketball team, and Jimmer Fredette's going to join us, and Jimmer's going to give us his scouting report as he's seen up close and personal of the projected starting 5 for BYU coming up on October 18th.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. By the way, I just was talking to Charles Abuo the other day, and I said, hey, AJ, because Charles works these guys out every morning, and he just goes, he grabs me on the wrist and he goes, dude, this guy is ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, I'm so excited to see him playing a game, right? So it's kind of fun. Hey, and Amazing Grace. Grace Ninsiima from BYU Pathway Worldwide will join us tonight. What an amazing story we have in store for you about Grace.
She was in that video that was on BYU TV. It was also on KSL TV that Jane Clayson Johnson put together for BYU Pathway Worldwide. And she's going back to Uganda tomorrow. She's coming to Wise Guys tonight.
She's in studio.
She'll be right next to you over there talking about how education's changed her life and BYU Pathway Worldwide made that possible, as they're doing for so many folks. And they're a sponsor of ours. And so we're thrilled to have Grace here, Amazing Grace, as we like to call her, and tell her story. So that's coming up. That'll be inspirational, inspiring, and all that stuff coming up later tonight. This is a blockbuster show. Might be our biggest ever.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Hey, anytime the show has Jimmer and Jay Drew breaking stuff down, and news about football, basketball, all the sports, and then we can cap it all off with a truly, like we're calling her Amazing Grace, because it's an amazing story that we're going to cap this whole thing off with later tonight.
Wise Guys is presented by our good friends at Brady Plus. Brady Plus provides cleaning, food service, and packaging equipment, dispensers and service, along with repairs, with over 150 distribution facilities across the country, over 6,000 employees. If you're at a hotel anywhere, there's a good chance Brady Plus is somewhere in the room around you. Learn more at bradyplus.com.
I see them everywhere. And then Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. Whether you run a dental office in Spanish Fork, Utah, or a construction crew in Lehigh, Eddie helps you hire, onboard, track time, and run payroll all in one place. Simple, local, reliable, built by business owners who believe people come first. See how Eddie can serve your team at eddie.com.
I see Carolyn on the stream saying, greetings from Phoenix, Arizona. Go Cougars. And the Cougs are coming your way to Arizona in just a few days. Mountain America Credit Union is one of our title sponsors, helping people achieve their financial dreams for over 80 years. Whether you're buying a home, planning for retirement, or managing daily expenses, Mountain America has the tools, technology, and guidance to help you succeed. There's a lot of information waiting for you at macu.com. And speaking of Mountain America and Arizona, The Sun Devil Stadium, what used to be Sun Devil Stadium, is now Mountain America Stadium.
Yeah, but they're
still true blue.
They're still true blue.
Let's face it. They're just spreading it out a little bit.
That's right. Our Relight Athlete of the Week, presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. We're going to announce our Relight Athlete of the Week here in just a little bit.
You bet we are. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News and Deseret.com, Utah's newspaper since 1850. All right. Let's talk about the polls. We watch when they come out every Sunday. AP Top 25 has BYU at 18. That's up 5 spots.
Yeah.
Coaches poll, 18, up 5 spots. ESPN FBI now projecting BYU wins 10 games. We're living through all this again of low expectation and then the rise.
Low expectation, high achievement. That's what we like, right?
Yeah.
Low expectation, high achievement. That's under promise, over deliver every year. That's fine. That's fine with us. And they did take a big jump, I think, because you know what's happening? Fewer and fewer teams are undefeated as we get this far into the season. And people are taking note. And you know what they're also doing? They're now finally making the adjustment where they're saying, okay, we knew BYU was going to have a really good defense. We knew they had a lot of weapons back on offense, but we just didn't know if this freshman quarterback was going to be any good. Mm-hmm. And now they're 5 games in going, hey, the kid's really good. One of the top freshmen in the country. Okay, BYU's okay. Let's make him number 18.
Good for us.
Yeah,
Yay for us.
So BYU Utah details are out.
I was really intrigued about this.
Speaking of football, Saturday, October 18th. So they go on the road to Arizona this next Saturday, and then they come back home. BYU Sports Nation Game Day, which you and I will be involved in. 4 p.m. on the BYU TV Live and ESPN Plus. And BYU Utah kickoff is at 6 p.m. national on Fox. And the postgame show come right back to us on the BYU TV app and ESPN Plus. So 6 p.m. kick, but make sure you join us for the game day show at 4 p.m. Mountain Time.
When 6 o'clock came out, I thought of 2 things. One, that's a perfect time for a football game. And then I thought that's a perfect time for a flyover. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to the people that know. And apparently right now the government's in a shutdown, and that could affect things. So all the more reason back there to put pressure on your Washington representative to reopen the government so that we can have a flyover a week from Saturday. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah. Did you call? Is it Colonel? Is Colonel Hammond a colonel?
I don't know if he's a colonel, but I texted him.
You know what? If he gets a flyover, we might make him a general.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
So actually, if he's in the Air Force, like a full bird colonel would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's what we would.
If that was the case, we'd have B-52s flying over our stadium.
I think we would.
Okay. How about that West Virginia game? Friday night, a little bit of rain, a little bit of lightning off in the distance, but we didn't have a delay, unlike a bunch of high school games around here, which was nice. BYU wins at 38-24 to get to 5-0 and 2-0 in the Big 12. What we did like was Bear was 18 of 25 for 351 and a touchdown, and he ran for a touchdown. Didn't love his first interception, but it was going to come. You can't just be, you just can't be Superman all the time. And Fox's Big Noon Kickoff show, by the way, calls Bear the most impressive freshman in college football. And today he was named Big 12 Freshman of the Week for the 2nd straight week.
Yeah, and that's a career high, throwing the football. Yeah. A little bit more each game, it feels like. They give him a little more responsibility in throw games. So Chase Roberts has 4 catches. Forget this. 161 yards.
Yeah.
4 catches for 161, career high for Chase. Parker Kingston also has 4 for 111 and 2 touchdowns. Sellout crowd, 63,000 plus. It was an amazing environment again at Lavelle Edwards Stadium on Friday night. So the other thing we really like, I like Bear's ability to come back. This is the first time he's had a couple of turnovers. Like, remember, he hasn't had one. The only turnover BYU had was on a special team. So he had a pitch that got tipped, and not only was it a turnover, it was a terminal turnover, meaning it resulted in immediate points. And then the interception was inside their own 15. But after both of those turnovers, he drove the team on a long, methodical drive down the field to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
He did not blink. And I was looking to see what would happen when he finally had some trouble. Didn't bother him. It was very, very impressive for a freshman.
I think we got a quarterback.
Yeah,
we're good there.
We got ourselves a quarterback.
I think that's good. By the way, Eric on the stream says I am a full bird Air Force colonel.
Very good.
I'll have to see what I can do.
All right.
Please see what you can do.
Eric, way to go.
Here's what we didn't like. We didn't like Jack Kelly's injury. something to do with his shoulder. We didn't like that Isaiah Glasker was banged up with his ankle and shoulder. Neither of those guys played in the second half. And we didn't like the 3 turnovers that led to 17 West Virginia points. Would have been a 38-7 game without some help. And then we didn't like the 10 penalties. So it was kind of, and you heard it in Kalani's voice after the game, it was a great and frustrating win.
Yeah, it was frustrating. And the touchdown they gave up at the end, I don't know. It's when you have a minute left in the game and you're down by 21 points, do you really call timeouts to get the ball back? Because both coaches at that point should be thinking, the game's 100% out of reach. There's only a minute left. Let's not get anybody else hurt here. So they called timeouts to get the ball back. And then BYU kind of, part of the defense got the message and the other part didn't. And you know who didn't get the message? The corners. They put the number 3s in and they throw a bomb over the top and get a touchdown. So that was, if you want to know the definition of a garbage touchdown, that's it right there.
We thought it might hurt them in the polls, but then it didn't. They jumped up 5 spots.
And let's say this about Jack. It looks like early right now that neither of these injuries are season ending. And to try to get Jack Kelly back, he's certainly not going to play this week. But Isaiah was trying to get in the second half. And they kept him out for precautionary reasons. So I think there's a lot of reason to believe that Isaiah will be back this week.
Kalani Sitake addressed the media earlier today, as he traditionally does on Monday, ahead of game week and on the heels of another victory. And let's listen to the head coach for a couple of minutes. Here's Kalani from today.
We're excited for the matchup, obviously, heading down to Tucson for that game this weekend. Had an extra day of prep, an extra day of rest. So we needed it, especially after going to East Carolina and then going to Colorado and then playing at home. I think it's a good timing for us to have that extra day and then getting ready for a really, really talented Arizona team. Had some really good things happen from last weekend, some things that we can definitely work on, but I'm excited about this week and excited about the opportunity for our team to progress and another opportunity for us to play at our best this weekend. And looking forward to the guys getting that done in all 3 phases. Really proud of the players and the leadership, and really proud of our coaches and our staff. Did a great job of getting our guys prepared for this game. We got to keep doing it, every week. And so today's going to be an interesting day for us. We need to get ready and get prepped. But that with piggybacking off an extra day that we had, on Saturday. But I feel really good about the progress that we're making as a program. And we'll see what happens with some guys that are banged up. Hopefully can get back and ready to roll for us, but that's part of the game. We have our depth there for a reason, and we spend a lot of time. As frustrating as last weekend, giving up that touchdown with some of the backup players that came in and played. Those are necessary reps to our guys to get them ready, even though we gave up a drive and gave up some big plays, and I think it was 3 catches in a row. That's good for them to learn from, and those guys are 1 play away from being on the field. So we did that exact same thing last year with a bunch of our guys, and now they're on the field and they actually finished the game. A good portion of them finished the game for us last weekend. So we'll see what team we show up with this weekend, but I'm excited that some of the guys, what we're hearing, we'll find out more as we evaluate their health today. But I feel good about where we're going as a program and where we're going to be when we show up to Tucson. About Arizona, Brandon's a good friend of mine. He and I stay in contact a lot throughout the off season, and he's a good friend of mine. When we worked together at Oregon State, we lived within a block of each other, and so we actually have a really good friendship and have kept that friendship between us and our families this entire time. So it's good to go up against a friend. Very talented team. They have a lot of. First of all, it starts off with the quarterback. The guy can sling it, and I've been a fan of his. I won't be cheering for him this weekend, obviously, but I love the way he plays the game and the way that he's able to distribute the ball. I think offensively, a lot of attention goes to the offense and all the skill talent that they have at receiver and an athletic, physical line. Combine that with a really good run game. But I think a lot of attention should go to their defense too. I know Danny's done a great job with the defense, and they tackle well. They're aggressive. they make things really, really difficult for an offense. And so it's going to be a great matchup. We have to be at our best, but we're looking forward to that opportunity and improving from this last week to this upcoming game.
There's Kalani Sitake from earlier today talking about West Virginia and Arizona. Before we turn the page to Arizona, as I look and see Howard from Japan on the stream. Hey, Howard. Not Alaska, but Japan. He's on the move. And there's Beaumont, Texas. And we haven't had Japan for a while, so it's good to have Japan on the live stream here tonight. But Blaine, let's revisit the keys to the game against West Virginia. Blaine gives us 3 keys every week, and then we hold him accountable. That's how we do it.
That's what we do.
Key number 1 was stuff the run.
Yeah, and they had 47 rushes for 156 yards. That's a 3.3-yard average. First of all, most teams I would like to have BYU hold under 100 yards rushing, but not a team that is top 25 in the country in rush offense that's coming off a 261 rushing yard effort against Utah, right? And so 156 and a 3.3 average for a team that emphasizes running the ball, yeah, I'm giving them a big plus.
Give them a check on that.
Yep, check mark.
Key number 2, win the turnover battle, which BYU lost 3-2.
They lost 3-2. I'm going to give them a minus on that. And when they're only -1. Remember I said West Virginia would have to be -2 to be in the game, but they don't get a check. They get a minus on that one. And the fact that the game was a 14-point game, BYU's 25 to 30 points better than that football team, but it was closer because of turnovers and penalties.
Yeah. Key number 3, run the ball early, hit big plays late.
They just hit big plays, period. They hit them early.
The big plays came early before the run.
They just threw them over the top. So I'm going to give them a plus anyhow because I felt like there were some big plays to be had. I just thought they had to set them up, but they got the big plays. I mean, you look at Chase Roberts' per catch average and what Kingston did, and we outlined that just a minute ago. Yeah, they got the big plays. We'll give them a plus for that one.
Shout out on the stream to Nebraska, to Nevada, North Carolina, and all over the place, all parts of Utah, here, Wisconsin. I mentioned Wisconsin too. So great to have you guys with us. Arizona is Saturday. BYU Sports Nation game days at 4 Mountain Time on BYU TV and ESPN+. The kick is at 6 Mountain on ESPN2. Post-game show on the BYU TV app and ESPN+ as soon as it's over. When you look at the series, it's about as close as it could be.
Yeah, 13-12 in BYU's favor. Last meeting was October 12th last year. BYU won 41-19. And they really dominated that game in every aspect. Arizona's 2025 record now is 4-1, and they're 0-1 in conference. They've got quarterback Noah Fifita. You heard Kalani mention Noah. 64% completions, 1,341 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. And Kalani's right. He can sling it. Like, he can throw it all over the place.
Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, and they've got a very solid running back in Ismail Mahdi. 64 rushes for 382. The most impressive part about him, because they're a big throw team. They're a throw-first team, and they kind of get you spread out and defending the pass, and then they run it and gash you with the run play as a changeup. He's got a 6-yard per carry average. So they're tough to defend. When they run it, they're effective because they set it up with the pass. So the opposite of, like, West Virginia. BYU's favored by 1.5 points. Weather looks like it's going to be good, right, Dave? So,
well, decent. About 60% chance of rain in the evening, and it's an evening kick. The low is 69, so it's going to be pleasant temperature-wise.
We were about that percentage chance for rain this last weekend, right?
Yeah, and we got a little bit.
Got a little.
Fortunately, we have a covering over there at our compound. BYU's going to wear the royal helmet, the white jersey, with the royal pants and the white trim.
Classic.
Should be good. And favored by 1.5 points, close to 2. Start as a pick'em. Yeah. And then some money moved in on BYU as a favorite. So we'll see about that. Here come Blaine's 3 keys to victory for BYU on Saturday night before we go down to Arizona and bring in our first guest.
I'm going to start with number 1. Make Noah Fifita throw from in the pocket and build a fence in front of him. So there's a new term I'm going to use. It's going to call pressure with precision. You can't go all out against Noah Fifita because he either gets the ball out really quick, so he gets there before you get there. So you bring 6 people and you're just taking people out of coverage and he gets the ball out before you can get there. Or they snap it to him in shotgun and he drops back 5 more yards. He's 13 yards off the line of scrimmage and he's so deep you can't get to him, but you you get gaps in your rush, and then he leaks out, and he doesn't go kill you with the run game. He kills you when he gets outside of containment, and he throws big plays downfield. So build defense in front of him. You rush with precision, so you stay in your rush lanes, and you make them stand behind your wall, behind your fence of big dudes, and you make them throw it over the top of that. That's how you beat Noah Fifita.
Okay, number two.
Number two is finish drives with touchdowns. So BYU, when you get down the red zone, you got to get touchdowns. You can't settle for field goals because this is a good Arizona defense. This is an offense that can get big plays. You got to score touchdowns.
Okay, and third.
Win the turnover margin battle. I feel like if BYU plays the type of defense we just talked about, I know Noah only has 3 picks this year. I think they can force him into a couple of picks, and then BYU needs to take care of the ball.
Threw a pick 6 last year.
Do you know what you can't do? You can't have terminal turnovers like they did against West Virginia. Arizona's way better. So you can't turn it over on your own 5, and you can't turn it over on your own 15. Those are deadly. You can't do that. Win the turnover margin battle, you win the game in Tucson.
All right, those are the 3 keys to a BYU win at Arizona on Saturday night. Our first guest tonight, can't wait to get the Cougars to Tucson. He's a BYU grad on the alumni board for the state of Arizona. It's our pleasure to welcome Pat Patterson to the Wise Guys tonight. Pat, it is good to see you. You got all the Cougar stuff decked out in your office. How you doing tonight?
Oh, man, look at that.
There we go. We just wanted you to see the Arizona shirt.
Oh,
We're
man.
going to build a campus down here very soon.
Beautiful. So,
How excited is everybody down there about the 5-0 Cougars marching into town?
Extremely excited. We feel like we've got a great chance to go 6-0 heading into the Utes. And we lost last year here in Arizona, which was, a bummer.
Yeah.
So we got to make up for that this week.
What are the alumni activities that are planned for around the game?
All right. Well, it starts with Friday night at 7 p.m. at the Tucson Stake Center with a Friday night fireside featuring Coach Satakei, some choice players, as well as AD Brian Santiago. So that's Friday night. Then we get into Saturday. And before I get too far into the tailgate, I want to make sure I mention, and I'm not sure, can you guys tell me if that graphic behind me up on the TV screen is visible?
The
Can you read that?
Facebook BYU Alumni Tucson chapter, Eventbrite, SeatGeek. Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah, we can
That's
see
it.
that.
So everything I'm going to lay out for you now is included, and you can find at that Facebook page. So
Okay, great.
if you miss something, no big deal. But we want to sell more tickets because we've got some to sell. And so you can go to Eventbrite until midnight tonight, and then it turns over to SeatGeek tomorrow. The good thing about Eventbrite is you can not only purchase a ticket for a great price for a Big 12 game, but also if you want, and you love the option of the tailgate activities, which includes food and other attractions, which I'll get into in a minute, you can do that. But if you miss out on that window by midnight tonight, just go to SeatGeek and you'll find tickets there.
Hey, Pat, tell us about the service project, because there's always a service project associated with BYU when they're on the road.
Exactly. And we've got a great one this year. The McKay College of Education is teaming with U of A College of Education. They've joined together with Cougs Care to collect food and personal items for at-risk kids, partnering with the Sunnyside Foundation, which is part of Tucson School District. They assist families. They have a pantry where they prepare food boxes for youth on their own. And we do that through food drives. And then they have and promote literacy through placing books in the home and the libraries that the Sunnyside students access. And so that combination, it leads to us, wanting to feed both the spirit and the body. And so all we're asking is, please, if you can, bring along some children's up to teen level books, and then also some perishable foods if you can. We'll have distribution points for those.
Cougar Nation.
Non-perishable foods, sorry.
Cougar Nation on the stream from Rexburg, Idaho, Savannah, Georgia, Billings, Montana, as we listen to Pat Patterson from the BYU Alumni Board in Arizona on the Wise Guys tonight, presented by Brady Plus Eddie Mountain America Credit Union as well. Pat, is there a website where folks who aren't going to the game but are watching this or will watch this or listen to the podcast where they'd love to make a contribution to the cause?
Absolutely, and if I'll just refer you right back to our high-end graphic there on the whiteboard, and that Facebook page for the Tucson chapter has all the links to, for instance, here's another high-tech graphic that will get you to all those things you can do if you're not able to make the game or the tailgate. There's lots of things you can do.
We've got that link. We got that link in our stream now too.
Yeah.
And in the notes for those listening to the podcast, so they can get all that information. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, Pat, how many fans do you think BYU is going to have in the stadium come game time?
I'm really horrible at that kind of thing, but I'm going to guess 2,000 plus. I hope it's more than that. There's ticket sales going on, I'm sure, that I don't even know about. All I know about is what we've got, in which I think we're going to sell out. I think the stadium may sell out, so that would be a lot of BYU fans.
Yeah, I think so. I think BYU fans showed out in force in Tempe. I know you were there last year in the game they lost in Arizona that you mentioned. Tucson's a little bit different because it's a good drive from the Phoenix area. However, wherever BYU goes, the fans just show, and I would imagine that you'll have a hopping tailgate party and a big BYU crowd.
Yeah, and thanks to you two letting us come on here again this year. I think we're going to get the word out to a lot more, and we're going to get some last-minute interest.
Well, that's the hope, and we're always glad to help the Alumni Association around the country bring awareness. And you know what? Whenever BYU travels, lots of good things. Not only is everybody having a bunch of fun and BYU being supported, there's always the service project associated. And I always feel like BYU leaves a place better than they find it when they come there. They do something to leave the place better, and that's just how BYU is, right?
It's truly unique amongst any college team anywhere, and I just love that it's come to this, and you two promoting us. We are very appreciative, and also we're big fans of both of yours.
Well, thank you.
That's very nice. Thank
what
you.
we want to do is get your keys to the game.
Yeah.
So fans can get the lowdown on what exactly is going to happen for the Cougs on Saturday. What do you think?
Okay, so I go way back to 1984.
Oh, wow.
And I'm thinking how badly Lavelle did not like night games. And I'm sure Blaine can attest to that. And but the new age Cougs, they do hunt at night. And so thank goodness for that change of heart and change of notion. But the key, number one to me, is do your 111th, even if you weren't a starter until this game. Because the injuries you talked about before, we don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
But somebody's going to be on the field. And so your first team now, you may not have been last week, but you are now, make it count. And then whether you were in Provo or have only seen it on a screen, envision last year's dominance over the Wildcats and how it felt. Wash and repeat on their field.
Wash and repeat.
Meaning come with a similar game plan to shut down Noah Fifita. And they don't have McMillan out at wide receiver.
No, thank goodness.
Honestly,
No.
Outside of the Heisman Trophy winner at Colorado last year with Travis Hunter, he was the best individual player BYU faced all year last year, bar none. He's not there. They do have very good receivers, but that dude's not out there.
So do your 111th, wash and repeat. What else you got for us?
Do I have to come up with a third one?
Yeah, you can come up with a third if you've got one.
Or give us a score.
Yeah, or a score
give us
prediction.
A score. All right. Well, based on everything I've seen so far, I'm gonna go with I'm repeating. Talk about wash and repeat. Wasn't it 41-19 last year?
It was 41-19. Yes.
That's what I'm calling.
41-19.
Whoa, and then that'll be a number that will just haunt the Wildcats. if it's 41-19 again, they'll dream 41-19. It won't be good.
That's awesome, Pat. We appreciate all you do for BYU, even this far away from Provo, and you and the board down there getting ready for a big weekend. And we love it when the Cougars go on the road, when they're undefeated and they're ranked in the top 20. And Cougar fans in wards and branches all over the place have a reason to get together, have a good time, and then hopefully the team can put on a show. And you guys have been working hard. So we salute you. Say hi to everybody down there for us and get us a win on Saturday.
Absolutely. We'll see you all at the Old Pueblo. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Pat.
That's awesome. We love having the BYU alums out in the field.
And there's a bunch of them down in Arizona.
Oh yeah,
like the Valley of the Sun down in that Phoenix, Tempe area. My goodness, there's just lots and lots of BYU alum, and then some in Tucson. But don't think those folks from the Metro Phoenix area won't travel down. What is it, like 90-minute drive? I don't know. It's like that seems like it's. I've done that drive, and it seems like forever. But maybe it's not. Because there's a lot of nothing between Phoenix and Tucson.
A lot of cacti. So. Jimmer is going to join us in just a moment. Before we jump on with Jimmer Fredette, last week in the Big 12, what did we learn as we continue the football theme?
Yeah.
Cincinnati upset 14th ranked Iowa State 38-30. You know what we learned? The Bearcats are for real, and they're going to host BYU later in November.
Yeah, and they're very skilled on offense and very physical and very good on defense. Yeah, Cincinnati is for real. And BYU's got to play them at their place later in the season. Texas
Tech went into Houston, beat them pretty good. We kind of expected that. It was kind of a reality check for Houston.
I was going to use the exact same word. Reality check for Houston. Yeah. Houston's much better than last year, but talent wins, and Texas Tech is very talented this year.
Baylor beat Kansas State 35-30. K-State remains the mystery team.
They've got K-State is on the verge, and we're going to talk about looking forward. K-State is on the verge of kind of losing confidence, where everybody starts questioning stuff at 2-4. They cannot lose again this week, and they've got a game. They got TCU coming to their place. If they lose the TCU, then all of a sudden people start questioning what they're doing. They're right on the verge.
TCU beat Colorado. Arizona pounded Oak State. Kansas beat UCF. We'll get to this week's schedule in just a bit. Our next guest is an Olympian, international basketball star, All-American, and former National Player of the Year at BYU, and a brand new podcaster. It's always a pleasure to welcome Jimmer Fredette back to the Wise Guys, live from his Colorado lair. Jimmer, how you doing tonight?
I am great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
So look at your backdrop there with a whole, like, the BYU and all. Like, is that in your house?
Looks like a locker room.
Yes, that is absolutely in my house. That was Whitney. Like I said, she's the one that made the house go right, and it looks great. She did a great job. They put in the nice lighting. I had some trophies that I need to put places, and that's where they decided to put them. So
it's tough when you have so many trophies. There's only a few spots for all those.
So Brenda loves Whitney. You know this. Can Whitney come over and help design like a man cave for me, where we can put some of my old BYU stuff behind me like that?
We can get you right.
Okay,
we can get you right. I mean, that's not a problem
I trust
at all.
I trust Whitney on this.
So Jimmer, you watched Bear when he was over there beating the Buffaloes. Cougars now 5-0. What's your take on this team as they bring along this young quarterback?
I mean, the thing that's been super impressive to me with Bear is just the limited turnovers that he's had, right? And I think that's been able to keep them in games, because their defense is so good that they're gonna be in games no matter what, as long as they can score. And him not turning the ball over, he had one turnover last game, but besides that, he's been pretty clean. And that's given us a chance to score. Obviously, we have Ferris, who is a great kicker. So if we get past that 40-yard line, we're pretty much scoring. And if you keep the pressure on, and then our defense, creates turnovers and just is playing solid, it's been fun to watch, a fun brand of football. And then obviously last week, I mean, the kid was just unbelievable. He was just throwing the ball everywhere, just a crazy amount of passing yards. You can see why, people love him, his potential, his willingness to, go out and get a first down with his legs and put his shoulder into people. Obviously, Kalani's probably like, all right, let's not put his shoulder into people every single play, but let's maybe learn how to slide a little bit. But other than that, I mean, the kid's a winner, and he's playing hard, and the team loves playing for him. So it's been really impressive.
Yeah, and he had a couple of turnovers this week, and like kind of weird plays, almost like last second strong safety blitz right into an option, like so. I feel like he learns from those things, but I want to take you back. So we're going to go back to November 10th, 2007. BYU's at Long Beach State in the season opener, and you're making your Division I debut. You go 3 of 9 for 9 points.
Big shock, all threes.
74, yeah, exactly. 3 of 9, all threes. 74-34 victory. What was your first start like compared to your last one 4 years later in the Sweet 16, especially from the mental part of how you approach the game?
Yeah, no, it's much different. You know, when you're a freshman, you're literally just trying to keep up with the pace of the game and trying to figure things out. You're not really, the game has not slowed down for you at that point. So you're kind of running around with a chicken in your head cut off, just like playing as hard as you can and trying to figure out where you fit in and into the offense and the defense, trying to figure out angles and how to cut guys off and on defense and doing all these different things. Whereas, 4 years later, the game is super slow to you. Like, you know exactly what's going to happen before the play occurs. You can kind of manipulate the defense in order to get where you want to on the spots. The speed is not a problem. You're the one that's, dictating the game and the speed. So, for me, that's the biggest change, is just being able to make the game way slower and see things before they happen. And that's what's going to happen with Bear. That's what's going to happen with our basketball team, right? With all of our freshmen. From the beginning of the year to the end of the year, you're going to be much better. But then obviously 3-4 years down the line, you're just going to be exponentially better. So it just takes some time. But you keep figuring it out. You keep incrementally getting better each game, as long as you put your mind to it and focus in on practice and the details.
In that context, does that not make Bear all the more impressive to be 5-0? Never mind, it was Portland State. It was also East Carolina on the road. It was also Colorado on the road. It was also West Virginia the other night. But does that make that all the more impressive for this young guy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's been really impressive to watch his poise and how he's played. That Colorado game, it easily could have gone the other way. And, we decided in the second half to come to really play. The defense obviously played great, but we were moving the ball on offense, and he was a big part of that with his legs, with his arm. And that's not an easy place to play. East Carolina has been really good this year. Offensively, they've been great. And, he's just been really impressive. Obviously, we have some really big tests coming up. Yeah. And I think that's going to be, ultimately, we're going to see what we have as a team, him as a quarterback, all of these things. But that's what we want. We've had 5 games to kind of warm up and get ready for this next stretch that we have ahead. And I think they're well prepared. It's just about the mindset of just staying poised, staying with the game plan, and making sure they're, effective running the football and then getting stops on defense.
Jimmer Fredette is with us on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, Mountain America Credit Union, and by Eddie. Let's switch a little bit to basketball, Jimmer. The basketball team plays their first exhibition, easy for me to say, exhibition game next month at Nebraska.
A couple weeks now, right?
Yeah,
a couple weeks away.
Yeah. What do you make of this roster? AJ DeBonsa, I guess we say, a new freshman, but you got a Richie Saunders returning, who's first team All Big 12. It seems like it's a crazy talented roster. How do you think they all come together when it's all said and done?
Yeah, no, it's a crazy talented roster. It's the most talented roster we probably had at BYU from when it's all said and done, just with the amount of draft picks we could possibly have and just the athleticism and the length. The guys that they're getting, obviously Richie is, the guy that is coming back that has been in the program for a long time. And obviously an incredible player. Kava is going to be a huge part of that team this year defensively, being able to anchor that defense again. And then you have guys like AJ and Rob coming in, and a guy like Kennard that's coming in that's going to be really good for them. Xavion's coming in. I mean, they just have a bunch of guys. I think ultimately it's going to take them a little bit of time to gel and figure out their roles. Like, that's just the way it is when a new team comes together. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of younger guys. It's going to take them some time to figure out, all right, who's taking the shot at which time, who's doing what's my role, where do I get my shots off? I think ultimately when they get that, they are going to be extremely good. They're going to be as good as anybody in the country. as long as they buy into those roles, because talent-wise, they are as good as anybody in the country. So, and I know Coach Young and the coaching staff is going to have those guys, they're going to have them working physically, but also mentally, making sure that they're prepared, getting themselves better and better each and every month, so that by the end of the season and by March, that they're playing their best basketball. And that's that professional and NBA mindset. It's like, we're not where you are in December, it's where you are in March. And he's definitely going to have that approach with this team.
Jimmer, if AJ is the next NBA superstar, or at least one of them, what could that mean for BYU's future when it comes to attracting other talent like him?
I mean, it's a huge deal. When a guy like AJ comes to BYU, it obviously opens eyes for not just fans and people across the country, for recruits. They're like, this is a viable option as a top recruit to come to BYU and to play and to be successful. Specifically, obviously, if he's the top 2 or 3 draft pick, right? Like, you came to BYU, hopefully have a great season, get treated really well, obviously have one of the best fan bases in the country, some of the best facilities, the best people, and then go out and be able to be a top 2, top 3 draft pick, top 1 maybe draft pick. That just opens the door for everybody else, saying that BYU is a legit place to come, develop, get eyeballs seen on you, playing against the best competition on a night in, night out basis, and then being able to go out and fulfill your dream of making it to the NBA and being an NBA superstar. So if that comes to fruition, which we all believe it will and hope it will for AJ, that means big things for BYU moving forward with the coaching staff we set in place and all the players we have set in place and the facilities and the collective, and everything's coming into shape for BYU basketball right now, which is really fun to see.
Yeah, during your BYU run, there was kind of a long build-up before the team moved into that top 10 ranking, and everybody was saying, oh man, this team could go places, and you guys became a national story. Completely different with this team, right? Like, I've never seen anything like it.
Different.
The accolades or expectations are already there. I mean, I've seen some polls where they're already ranked in the top 4, and people have them a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Does all of this hype before these guys ever play a single game together concern you at all?
I think it would generally, but that's been AJ's life. Like, AJ's literally been in the limelight and had this expectation on him since he was like 12, 13 years old, right? That's kind of what he is. Same with Rob Wright. I mean, Rob Wright is a 5-star recruit. Xavier is a guy that's been in the limelight for a long time and playing high-level basketball. And then you got guys like Richie and Dawson who have been through it. They've already made a Sweet 16 run and have kind of done it. Kaba, these guys I don't really worry about with that. I think that they have a task in mind, to be honest with you. I think that they are thinking Final Four. Like, that's their goal. And if they don't reach that, I think they will see it as an unsuccessful season for themselves, right? They have super high expectations for themselves, as they should. Like, with my team, we had those high expectations. We were like, hey, we wanted to make it to the Final Four, right? And if we didn't make it to the Final Four, we would view it as somewhat unsuccessful, and it honestly didn't happen. When you look back on it, obviously it was a great run and we loved it. We wish we would have gone further. And these guys are going to say the same thing. Coach Young's going to, they might not say it outwardly all the time. Maybe they're keeping it inward. They're focusing game by game, all the cliches that you hear, but they're thinking Final Four. Like, that's what they want. And, if they don't practice that way, if they don't prepare that way every single day in practice, I guarantee that they are. And if they aren't, then there's something wrong, right? But I know for sure that they're definitely doing that. They're thinking that this is a year that they can be extremely competitive in the NCAA tournament, in the Big 12, and I think that's going to be their expectation. So I don't worry about it too much because of the fact that they're there with the media, that they think that this is a Final Four team.
Jimmer Fredette on the Wise Guys, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. Kevin Young obviously preparing for the here and now and for tomorrow. Just received a commitment from the number 1 ranked junior college player in America, 6'2" guard KJ Perry. He'll arrive in Provo mid-year, red shirt, suit up next season, according to On3's Joe Tipton. The hits keep coming. What does the future look like for BYU basketball? Just on the notion, I mean, we're 2 weeks out from the start of this big year, and the other guys are now signing up.
Yeah, I mean, That's college basketball now, right? Like you're recruiting all the time. So you're getting a big recruit before, the season even starts, when generally you probably wouldn't see that quite as often. But that's just the name of the game at this point. It's, a little bit like a mini professional sports where you're kind of always recruiting. You have a whole full staff that is evaluating talent all over the country, wherever that is at all times. And they're preparing themselves for the now, but also for the future, because you have to. If you don't, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. So it's a lot. Those guys are definitely not sleeping a lot, during the season and the off season. They are full-time working and making sure that they're preparing. But it bodes great for BYU's future. Like you said, the #1 junior college recruit in the country also committed to BYU. So there's something going on, and we can sense that. Obviously, KY is a huge part of that. The success that they had last year in the tournament is a big part of that. People saw that and were like, these guys are for real. Like they're putting their best foot forward. Yegor going in the top 10 of the draft and being talked about. People are seeing this and like, man, this is real stuff at BYU. So I don't see it slowing down anytime soon, especially if they have a massive year this year.
Jimmy, you're the managing director of USA Basketballs. Now, I want to be cool, so I want to say it right. Because I hear you say 3x3, not 3-on-3.
It is. It is 3x3. That is what they have patented. And it's like if you say 3-on-3 in like a video or something, they make you do it over again. So I've just been ingrained. It's 3x3.
Every time I see it, and it's like I hear Jimmy says 3x3. I'm like, am I supposed to call it 3x3? So I want to be cool, so I got to call it 3x3. But that's not enough. You're not busy enough doing that and raising a family. Now you've launched this podcast called From the Logo, where, by the way, you took a lot of shots in the day, right?
Absolutely.
Our dear friend and colleague Spencer Linton is involved with you on this. Tell us a little bit about the new podcast.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's honestly been something that I've been thinking about for a while. And Spencer, came to me and was like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this?" And I was like, "I've been thinking about it." And it's an opportunity to kind of, go out and say what you want to say and have a platform to be able to talk about fun things and also talk about positivity and some of the spirituality things and faith-driven things that we wanted to talk about within the realm of sports, but also just with really amazing individuals and people that we are able to talk to. And, this week we have the Bucket List family on, who is, someone who, if you follow them on Instagram, they have a massive following and have been all over the world with their kids. And it's been a really cool, experience to just kind of talk to some awesome people. We had AJ on last week. It's been really, really fun. So it's been really well receptive. I appreciate all the people that have come on and subscribed and have listened and enjoyed and commented on our podcast. And we're going to keep it going. We're not to your guys' level at all, but we're trying. So we're trying to get there.
Listen, it's once a week. Is it once a week that you drop a new show?
Once a week on Wednesdays when we drop it. Yep.
So everybody can listen to us on Mondays, listen to you guys on Wednesdays, and the world will be great.
There's plenty of room.
Yep.
Oh yeah, for sure. Plenty of room. And we're going outside just BYU sports. So that you guys are crushing that, and it's going to keep going. And we'll take some other stuff out of the other sides too.
Listen, you're shooting from the logo. We're doing layups.
Yeah.
So that's how we got this going. Hey, 5 questions for Jimmers presented by StrategySquare.co. Since you work as an analyst with us on BYU games on occasion, we want to throw out the projected starting 5 for 2 weeks away, right? Or 2 weeks from on the 18th against Nebraska. And then put your analyst hat on and give us a couple of nuggets of each one of these of these starters that figure to be the group. You ready?
Sure. Let's do it.
Let's start with the point guard, Rob Wright.
Yep, Rob Wright. He's my starting point guard as well. Obviously, transfer from Baylor, incredibly fast. We asked AJ about that the other day. He said, "Who's the toughest guy to guard on the team?" He said, "Rob Wright." Not even a question. And he's incredibly fast, quick, shifty, can shoot it. He's a 5-star recruit. He's a guy that can fill it up, and he's going to be extremely dynamic for us at the point guard position, which is a little bit of a shift from last year with Yegor. Yeah. But it's something that is really important, I think, as you get to the tournament.
Okay. There's a lot of really physical, but also crazy quick point guards in the league. How will he be defensively? Does he have that lateral quickness to stay in front of people?
I think he definitely does. It's all about mindset, right? Like I think that's the biggest thing is just, Coach Young and the guys getting into him saying, hey, listen, we need you to, pull your weight on the defensive end, stay in front of your guy, make sure you're chesting up, walling up, those types of things that guys were saying to me all the time, right? They were Jackson Emery's like, hey, just stay in front of your guy somewhat, and then I'll come from behind and I'll try to tip it. And they're going to be asking the same thing from Rob because he's obviously a scorer first.
How about Kennard Davis Jr.? What's the skinny on him?
Yeah, Kennard, he's a guy that scored really well last year, right? He was kind of the leader of that team. He went from like 4 points a game to like 16.5 or 16.9 points per game in his sophomore season, which means he made a huge leap, but also he had it in him the whole time, right? He's a guy that can score the basketball. He's good defensively. I think he's going to end up being kind of like our 3-and-D type guy, where he's going to be playing probably the defense on their best player. And then was like 38% from three last year. I see that staying about the same, maybe even going up, because I think he's going to get a lot of looks, right? He's a guy where you don't want Rob shooting it. You don't want Richie shooting it. You don't want AJ shooting it. So Kennard is going to be the guy, right? Like that's kind of open, so to say. And I think that's going to be obviously detrimental to the defense. I think he's very good with that.
Let's go next to the 5, a familiar face, and Keba Keita.
Yeah, Keba is he's a freak of nature athletically. He's strong. He's athletic. You saw last year he's above the rim. He's going to be great with catching lobs. Again, anchoring that defense. He can switch on defense and play against a smaller guy, or he can play in the drop. He's going to protect the rim. I think that's one thing with we're going to see a lot of pressure, I think, defensively from us with the personnel that we have, because we have Keba in the back that can kind of clean it up. And he's so good at that, putting that pressure on the guards, making them drive and funnel him towards him is going to be huge. So he's a really, really important part of this team this year. So I see him being, a guy that could lead the league in blocks if he wanted to. But just an awesome person as well. A great guy to have on the squad.
All right, before we get to Richie, I want to say hello on the live stream, folks from North Carolina, New Hampshire, Florida, Italy, here with us listening to Jimmer Fredette.
We got Japan on here too, Jimmer.
Japan too. All right, so Richie Saunders. How about Richie?
Richie's our veteran, right? He's going to be our leader out there. He has to be our leader, guy that is vocal, that makes sure that he's, getting into guys, make sure that they're playing hard. And obviously he always plays hard. I think that's one thing that I love about Richie. He puts his best foot forward no matter what. He's always hustling. He's on the floor, but then he's very skilled too. He can shoot the basketball, shoot the lights out. I see him shooting a lot this year, getting a lot of open looks as well. He's got a quick release. He jumps high when he shoots it. He's very good going to the basket and finishing with his left hand. He's extremely athletic, good defender. So he's our steady player. I see him averaging, somewhere between 16 to 20 points a game this year. And I see him being, a guy that could be first team all Big 12. And he's just going to be super steady. He's the guy. If we're going to have a big run this year, he needs to be himself. And if he's himself, they're going to be really good.
Let's finish that starting 5 with AJ. We talked about him a little bit, but what does he bring?
Yeah, first of all, he brings world-class length and athleticism, right? And that's one thing that people don't realize. People are going to see him and be like, wow, he's way taller and longer than I was expecting. And that's NBA-type length and athleticism, right? Like top 5%. You don't see that very often. We haven't seen that at BYU for a long time. We had guys, Jackson Emery and Kyle Collinsworth and Brandon Davies. These guys were all really great athletes, but they weren't world-class length and athleticism like AJ is. And so that's just going to be different. Obviously, defensively, I think they want him to be a menace. I think they want him to take the challenge on and be able to lock guys down and be able to guard the ball, also be able to guard the rim and rebound the basketball. Once he rebounds it, he can take it off right on the break and be your point guard. And that's one thing that's going to be interesting as well. I think they'll use him at point guard sometimes, doing different things. And he's just so good with the ball in his hands. He can shoot it. He's great in the mid range. He can shoot the three. He's obviously amazing at getting to the rim. He's just an all around. He's a great basketball player. It's going to take him a little bit of time to to figure out the spacing. The spacing is a little different in college, and there's a little more physical, and you may see some bumping. Obviously, the guys are going to play very physical on him, try to get into his head pretty early, just to see if they can get him out of his game. But I think he's good enough and savvy enough that he's going to figure that out pretty quickly, and he's going to be a guy that's in the running for Big 12 Player of the Year and hopefully one of the national players of the year. That's what I expect from him.
Good times ahead for BYU basketball, and our basketball analyst, Jimmer Fredette, live from Colorado on the Wise Guys. We invite you to check out his podcast, From the Logo, wherever you get your Wise Guys podcasts, and together we'll conquer the world. Jimmer, thank you so much for joining us. We love having you on the show, and proud of all you're doing.
It's always a great time to be with you guys. You guys are the best. I appreciate you, and anytime. We'll talk again here
Thanks,
soon.
Thanks, Jimmer.
Okay,
love to Whitney and the kids, and we'll talk to you soon, brother.
Okay, we'll see you later, guys.
That's the great Jimmer Fredette. He lived it, and and he can explain it. And,
he sure can.
And it's great to kind of, with a lot of people excited about basketball on the stream tonight because of what Jimmer was saying. Jay Drew is 60 seconds away from us. Let's do the Relight Athlete of the Week presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com. Tonight, Wise Guys is proud to honor Parker Kingston as the Relight Athlete of the Week for his performance against West Virginia.
Yeah, 4 receptions for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. I mean, what a night. Kingston's the only BYU player in modern history to have a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a punt return for a touchdown. That's amazing versatility. Awesome. He's the most versatile player on the team. After Saturday's game, he talked with us about being injured in fall camp. And he talked about it's taken him a while to get back to full speed, but he's back, guys, and he is flying around the football field, and he's looking great.
His career numbers at BYU: 3 touchdown receptions, a touchdown run, 3 touchdown passes, and 2 punt returns for touchdowns. And before he came to BYU, Kingston was a star quarterback and / all-purpose guy at Roy High School in Layton, Utah, the same school as the legendary Jim McMahon. So his high school stats are this: 2,649 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 2,136 rushing yards, 33 touchdowns, 34 receptions, 5 touchdowns, and 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns.
Yeah, that's the most balanced, most versatile line you're ever going to hear a high school player. So Parker Kingston's our Relight Athlete of the Week, presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com. We're proud of because he's gone through a grind. Yeah. You know, that injury in fall camp was a grind, and he's back, folks, and I expect him to have a big-time game this week against Arizona. I
sit down with Parker and go one-on-one. We'll have that interview for you on game day on Saturday as we get you ready for BYU and Arizona. Our next guest is the BYU beat writer for the Deseret News. You can find his work both in the published paper and at Deseret.com. Our pleasure to welcome Jay Drew back to the Wise Guys. Jay, thank you for joining us once again. We love having you on the show.
Thanks for having me. I love being on the show.
And I see you've come from the WASP room once again.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, the wasps, bees, and plants.
Yeah, it's awesome.
My favorite things.
Hey, Jay, what impressed you the most from the West Virginia game? We'll get into some concerns, but what impressed you?
I think the explosive plays. I think that was maybe the thing that was missing from this offense, the chunk plays. And as you guys mentioned, Parker Kingston had some, Chase Roberts had some. So I would say that, 351 passing yards is, if Bear can do that and BYU's offense can do that every game, they're going to be tough to beat.
What, coming out of that game, what concerns you the most as they head into this game Saturday night at Arizona?
Probably the lack of discipline, probably the offensive line, some penalties, just kind of the mental focus wasn't quite there. And I'm sure it'll pick up. It'll be better. It'll be more intense on the road. But I would just say that was the thing we hadn't seen pretty much all season that really reared its ugly head against West Virginia is the undue penalties.
When you asked Kalani that today during his news conference, he was quick to agree with you that kind of had caught him by surprise. Maybe it was that they hadn't had a home game in 27 days and the crowd was into it, or they were big favorites against West Virginia. I don't know, but the gauntlet ahead should have their full attention, shouldn't it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, this gauntlet ahead is crazy hard. I remember, well, I wasn't covering the team, but back there was when they started out with Florida State and some other ranked teams. I think maybe Notre Dame was in there. But this at least in the last 10, 20 years has been by far the hardest this stretch will be.
And it's this Arizona team. Preseason, nobody was expecting him to be good, but now they're looking really good. Are they the most surprising team, or so far in the Big 12, is there another team that surprised you the most?
Yeah, I would have to say Arizona. I'd have to say Cincinnati's looking pretty good after beating Iowa State. But yeah, I would say between Arizona and Cincinnati are probably the two that I had ranked towards the bottom when I did my preseason rankings. And those two teams right now are looking two of the better teams in the league.
How much has BYU surprised you from where you thought they would be with a true freshman quarterback?
Yeah, I'm glad you added that true freshman. If you had said Jake Retzlaff was going to play, I would have probably had him 5-0 at this point, to be totally honest with you. But when the shocking news came down and all that, and we heard they were starting a freshman quarterback, I probably readjusted my expectations. I was thinking, 3-2, 4-1. So yeah, I'll have to say, based on that, they've been a big surprise, and Bear has been a tremendous surprise. He's just been far exceeded what any freshman should be expected to do.
Mm-hmm. Deseret News sports writer Jay Drews on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, Mountain America Credit Union, and by Eddie. So 5 games into the season, we mentioned, I don't know if you were on listening when we talked about this, that we're going to get your kind of grade reports, and we're going to go position by position, offense and defense. So let's start with the quarterbacks. You just were talking about Bear. You're going to give him a grade and talk about what you think about this quarterback situation for BYU 5 games in.
Yeah, I have to give him an A. I mean, maybe an A- because of a couple turnovers, but I mean, only 1 interception in 5 games, and the one pitch, which really wasn't totally his fault. So I would have to say A for Bear and for the quarterback position.
All right, let's move to the running backs. What grade do you give that group led by LJ Martin?
Yeah, I think you got to give it probably an A-. I think the injuries, Siona Moa, the injury, that it's already showing that it's going to be an issue. So I would say A-. LJ's been phenomenal, just what we thought he would be. The kid's vision just sets him apart, and he has that little burst. So he's been as good as advertised.
So to get an A, they hopefully will get Sione back in a few weeks. They get him back. Do they have a chance to play into an A by the end of the season with Sione back?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, knock on wood, they haven't had any fumbles. Their pass protection has been really good from what I've seen. Had the one fumble by Jovesa Demuni the other night after he caught a ball. So yeah, I certainly think there's very little to complain about so far.
Okay, let's move to the receiving. What about the receiving game? And we'll include the tight ends with that group.
Yeah, I'd have to say, an A, maybe A-. There was a few issues with drops early in the season. I think Parker has redeemed himself from a couple. Chase Roberts dropped a 4th and 2 play against East Carolina, but so those are just little nitpicky things. But and of course they lost JoJo, and that can't be understated. He was, supposed to have a breakout year. So for overcoming all that, I would probably say also A-, A range.
All right, let's move to the big boys up front. This offensive line lost a few guys from last year, and there were a lot of question marks, some newcomers coming in. What grade do you give the offensive line after a 5-0 start?
Yeah, I'm going to be a little rougher on the offensive line. I'm going to go with a B. They've been good. They've got the running game going. They've relied on that running game the first couple of games while Bear kind of got his feet under him. So, but this last game they struggled a little bit against Colorado. They got off to a little bit of a slow start as well. So I'm going to go a B, a solid B on that.
Beat writer for the Deseret News, Jay Drew on the Wise Guys, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com tonight, revealing his BYU report card after 5 games. So, Blaine, let's move to the other side of the ball.
Let's start with the defensive line on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I think they've been good. Solid. I'm going to go a B as well. I think Keanu Tanuvasa has taken a little while. I don't want to say that he's underperformed, but I think he does have the one sack. So I'm thinking that JT. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. Has been exceptional, really good. Justin Kirkland's just getting going after sitting out the first few games with injury. So I'm going to go B with the defensive line. Pretty solid. I don't think the defensive ends have any sacks yet. I think the sacks have come from Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker and others. So for that reason, I guess I'd go a B for them.
And Jay, don't feel bad because we all struggle. Like I always have to look over at Nixon and say it really slow, and I go, Tau Moi Payao. That's like, it's not easy. This is not easy.
JT.
So we just all call him JT because that's what the coaches call him JT. So we just go with JT.
All right, Jay, what about the linebackers? What grade do you give them through 5?
Yeah, they've been as good as we thought they'd be. I got to go an A. I mean, Glasker's big pick against Colorado was absolutely huge. Jack Kelly, has been phenomenal, just like we thought he would be. Siale Acera has been stout and has been kind of what we thought he would be when he was free of injury. So I'm going to go A with the linebackers. I think they've been solid. I think overlooked a little bit is Che Bryant Strother's injury, especially now that there's having a couple other linebackers nicked up. They really could use him for that depth. But yeah, solid A for that group.
Okay, how about the secondary?
Yeah, they've been good. I mean, literally, Evan Johnson pretty much won the game for him at East Carolina with 2 incredibly great interceptions. They've been solid. That play that Tanner Wall made the other day to pretty much to get, stop them at the goal line, stop West Virginia was great. So, a 5-0 team, and teams aren't really passing the ball real well against them. So I got to go an A as well. I think they've been solid.
And then what about special teams?
Yeah, they're not. They set the bar so high last year and the year before that with how well they did. So I'm going to probably go a B. They've had some great plays. They did have the fumble punt return that Parker Kingston had. They've had a couple of miscues. Gave up, I think, a long kickoff return. I think it was East Carolina or Stanford. But yeah, I would probably say a B. I mean, obviously Will Farron has been great. He's missed a couple of really, really long ones, just barely. So, let's go a B for them as well.
Hey, Vanderhart's going to be mad at you thinking that his fake field goal should have made up for some extra credit. Should have got some extra credit on that.
And I should say his ability to pin punt has been exceptional.
Yeah.
Really lost in that, maybe not lost, but in that Colorado game, the fact that he pinned him on the inside their 5 for that last drive was absolutely huge.
True. Yeah. And you're right though, Jay, that the bar is so high for special teams that it feels like they're a B, but they're probably as good as most teams in the country would ever want them to be. But with the talent they have there and the way they've played, you just expect them to be great, right?
Yeah, and I should mention that Cody Hagan seems to make really good decisions bringing the ball out. I think that might have been a knock last year on the returner who's now at Miami. But I just think Cody just has a really good feel for when to bring it out and when to call that fair catch.
What about the coaching? What grade do you give Kalani and his staff?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give them an A. I mean, they're 5-0 and they're playing a freshman quarterback, and they've had a few, untimely injuries, and they're rolling along. I'll say this: I think Aaron Roderick has come up. He's a good play caller, but he's also come up with some really well-designed plays that I haven't seen used a lot in all of football that I've been watching. He puts in little tweaks and turns and twists to them. So I would say an A for sure.
Well, this looks a lot like my high school report card.
Yeah, it doesn't look like mine. It doesn't look like mine. So,
too nice? Because I've been criticized in some circles for being a little too.
No, I think that's fair. I think you're fair. Like
5-0 helps.
Yeah, 5-0.
That.
Like the teacher's got to say, "Hey, we're 5-0." It's like you got 100 on every test. What am I going to say, right? So it's all good.
Here comes the big question, though, Jay.
Yeah. As you look at the rest of the way, what's your forecast? You just mentioned this this next little run over 5 games is brutal. And then Cincinnati, who we thought at the beginning of the season was an easy one, that's not easy either. So what's your thought?
Neither's UCF now. They're getting it going better. I'm going to go 8-4 finish. I think they'll win a game that you probably would not expect them to win. So I would probably say Iowa State or Texas Tech. I see them winning one of those. And then, like last year when they dropped one to Kansas, maybe a game that, you would have thought start of the season they were going to win and they lose. So I'm going to go 8-4. That's just based solely on how good the opponents are and not really on the way BYU is trending right now.
8-4 the rest of the way puts them in what, the Pop-Tarts Bowl or
something? Yeah,
something like that. If it were to go 8-4, probably got to be 9-3 to get in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
It's interesting because we were looking at how ESPN has that FPI predictor and to start the season, I think they hadn't win 5 games, and now they've got them today 10. They got them 10-2 now. Dave and I were going, wow. That's very bullish, and they have their whole data recipe that they put together. But
hey, Jay, just think about it. Just a few years ago, the next 5 games would be Idaho State, UTEP,
State,
Texas Georgia Southern,
exactly.
Rick's College if they got football back, and they're amongst the big boys now. And now they're ranked 18th. Do you get the sense that the voters have gotten over the Jake Retzlaff disappearance, and that until proven otherwise, that they believe BYU's as good as they were last year?
Yeah, I think there's some of that. I think, there's a lot of style points involved. I kind of wrote that the other day that, they had kind of a chance against West Virginia to maybe boost that up as kind of one of the rare games, Friday night games on TV where a lot of the nation was watching. But yeah, I think most savvy voters have kind of realized that Bear Bachmeier's probably the real deal, and that they're worthy of their ranking.
As you look to this weekend, and then we'll hit you with 5 questions. Arizona State's at Utah. Is this the weekend Utah wins a home game in the Big 12, or is Arizona State?
I can't even believe we're saying that they've not won a home game in the Big 12. Can you even believe that?
Is ASU just good enough to go in there and beat them? I think they are.
I think they are. I also think that Utah might have learned some things in that Texas Tech loss. That's a toss-up, that game. That's going to be a really interesting game. Arizona State has really shown, their quarterback's great. Whenever you got a really good quarterback like Sam Leavitt, you can win on the road. Of course, defense travels, and Arizona State's got a pretty good defense. But, we'll see. I just think it's going to be a Donnybrook really great game, and I'm glad I don't have to make a prediction on it.
It's going to be a late one. At the BYU game a little early at 6 local time, and then that one's at 8:15, 8:20 up in Salt Lake on Saturday night. Let's finish with 5 questions presented by Strategy Square, and we like to pick your brain on stuff because you do a great job in the profession. But the 5 most talented BYU football players you've covered as a sports writer here in the state of Utah. Now, you didn't always have the BYU beat, so it's limited to
since 2008.
Since
so
2008.
Matt Hall's junior year when I took the beat. It's really hard, that one. Been thinking about that a lot. So quarterback, I got to go either Zach Wilson or Taysom Hill, but I feel like I can only pick one. So I'm going to lean towards Taysom Hill.
Okay.
Tight end, I'm going to go Dennis Pitta. He was phenomenal when I first started the beat. The defensive star, either Kyle Van Noy or Fred Warner. So I'm going to probably lean towards Fred Warner, but just barely. You can make a case that Kyle was better in college and that Fred's been better pro. Let's see who else. Running back. I covered Jamal Williams, Tyler Algier.
Oh, wow.
Harvey Unga, 3 of the great ones.
Yeah.
I'm going to lean towards Jamal Williams.
Okay.
When he was in his prime. Let's see, am I hit 5 yet?
One more.
You got Zach Wilson, Dennis Pitta.
Oh, wait. Taysom. We went Taysom.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You went Taysom. Taysom Hill. Yeah, Taysom's just a crazy football player.
Williams,
Taysom, Dennis, Fred, and Jamal. So you got 1 to go.
Yeah. Boy. I want to leave one of the favorite guy. I love covering Max Hall just because he was a quote machine and he never knew what was going to come out of his mouth. So yeah, I'm going to go with Max Hall. A lot of people forget he won more games than any BYU quarterback.
He holds the record for quarterbacks.
So I'm going to go with Max and go with 2 quarterbacks.
That's nice. A great list.
That is a good list. It's fun. People forget that team. You have Max Hall at quarterback, Dennis Pitta at tight end, Austin Collie at wide receiver, and Harvey Young at tailback.
Yeah,
from a skill perspective, that may be as good a skill group as BYU's ever had at any time.
And I didn't give you guys a wide receiver, so it would probably be between Austin Collie and Cody Hoffman.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I've covered. Oh, and Puka, although Puka wasn't as long as the others. That's another tough one.
Wow.
To pick as well. I would probably lean towards Puka just because what he's done in the pros is just unbelievable so far.
A lot of talents come through.
Man, that's just think about that. Since 2008, the names you just threw out, how many great players have come through. Fred Warner may be the best defender in the National Football League right now. And you just mentioned Puka. Puka is the best wide receiver in the league right now, which is crazy.
Right. And not to mention Ryan Rico.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the best punter in the league. Yeah.
Which is saying something with Lee Johnson and others that have. Is it Lee Johnson?
Yeah, Lee Johnson played.
Yeah.
I don't know, was it 17, 18, 19 seasons in the NFL? He's great.
Jay Drew, you can read him in the Deseret News and Deseret.com. We'll be following your coverage as you head to Tucson for Saturday night's BYU-Arizona game. We love having you on our show. Thank you for your great reports and for your top 5 most talented football players you've covered at BYU. Great insights as always, Jay, and we appreciate you being on tonight.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, and we still love the bee, wasp, and plant room.
If you weren't in that room, I would be disappointed.
BYU, that's right. Thanks, Jay. Talk to you soon.
Hey, guys. Have a good night.
All right, there's Jay Drew, and covers BYU better than anybody in the state, and you can read him in the Deseret News. Campus Notes are presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. BYU Pathway makes truly affordable, fully online, spiritually based college degrees accessible to people worldwide through greatly reduced tuition, weekly peer gatherings, and English support, helping students earn sooner, increase their income, and deepen their faith. You can learn more at byupathway.edu. We have a special guest we're going to visit with in just a bit. But first, let's run down our campus notes, and let's start with basketball.
Yeah, congrats to Kevin and Melissa Young.
Yeah.
That's the big news. We talk about additions to the squad. Well, there's an addition to the Young squad. Melissa delivered a baby girl last week. Congrats to the Youngs. And then BYU lands a commitment. Now they're adding to the basketball squad. And you already mentioned this earlier, Dave. The number 1 junior college player in the country, 6'2" guard KJ Perry. Marriott Madness, remember this, Thursday, 4:30, party at the Plaza. 6 p.m. blue-white scrimmage. It's open to the public. No live TV, which we wish was going to have some live TV.
Yeah, we do.
Because you and I would do that. And then their exhibition game, their first exhibition game is at Nebraska. That's Saturday, October 18th, 11 a.m., It's on the Big Ten Plus package. So you've got that. You can see it. North Carolina versus BYU, Friday, October 24th is their second exhibition game. That's 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And guess what?
We'll be on that one.
You and Dave, you and Jeremy and I get to call that one.
That'll be fun.
So that'll be really fun. And then go ahead. You can take the rest.
Season opener is November 3rd at T-Mobile Arena against Villanova in Las Vegas. That's on TNT. We'll have pregame coverage both on Wise Guys and on BYU TV that night. BYU and UConn playing the TD Garden in Boston. That's set for November 15th. The time is 5 Mountain on Fox. That's the same day as TCU at BYU in football, so we'll see how that lines up.
Yeah.
We do know that BYU won't be on Fox playing football that night, because the basketball game will be on.
That's right.
And then Wisconsin and BYU is Friday, November 21st. We knew that, and we knew it's at the Delta Center, but it's going to be played at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because the Jazz host Oklahoma City that night.
Yeah, so there's back-to-back games, like a doubleheader, so to speak, in the Delta Center.
That'll be quite the changeover. But there you go. There's some of the dates and TV locations that are new since we were last together here on the show. Let's do soccer.
Yeah. Soccer 6-3-2, 6-3-2. I hate that they have ties in soccer.
I know.
Can't we not have a tie? So 6-3-2. They're 1-2-1 in the league. Tied 1-1 at Houston. This week, tonight, BYU's at Oklahoma State, 6 p.m. on ESPN+. So that game's already in progress. Friday, BYU's at Baylor, 6 p.m. Mountain on ESPN+. And the next home game is against Arizona on October 16th.
Women's volleyball 14-2. They're 2-2 in the Big 12. National ranking is 21 as of today. They beat Cincinnati 3-1, got beaten in a dogfight against West Virginia on the road 3-2. This week they're home hosting Houston at 1 in the afternoon on Saturday, and that's on ESPN+.
Cross country, national rankings. Women continue to be number 1 in the country. The men check in at number 6. Up next, the men are at the Nutty Comb Invitational. That's October 17th in Madison, Wisconsin. And the women are at the Missouri Pre-Nationals. That's October 18th. That's in Columbia, Missouri.
Let's do some golf. The men finished 3rd at the Blessings Collegiate Invitational in Fayetteville, Arkansas. They're in the Bryson Invitational October 13th and 14th in Charleston, South Carolina. And the women finished 6th at the Blessings Collegiate Invitational. Next is the Dale McNamara Invitational October 13th and 14th in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Those are the campus notes presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. Before we bring on our guests, we want to remind you we've got a football that we're auctioning off.
That's right.
So we can send kids to school in Uganda. It's a program that we've been working with the Ephraim Hope Mission. Last year we auctioned off a similar ball for $5,500 and sent 23 kids to school for a year. So here's this year's football. And by the way, this football is now occupied by a team that's 5-0 and ranked 18th in the country. Every week the value of that ball goes up.
And Jay Drew said 8-4. I'm not buying 8-4. This team wins at least 9 games, maybe 10.
Yeah, maybe 10. An autographed hat by Sally Acera also. So to place a bid, go over to our website at wiseguys.com, click on the Contact Us tab, and then use the form there to send us your bid. That's it. So we've got the link in the chat. It'll also be in the show notes for the podcast. So help us raise money and send kids to Uganda for a year. And then we're just going to keep doing it.
Yep.
Our Cougar Board question of the week. If you're not familiar with Cougar Board, it's the largest online community of BYU fans, thousands of posts every day. This one from Airwolf. What are your thoughts on how BYU contains Fifita?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit very early in the show, so you can go back and listen to that a little bit. But the way they defended Fifita last year was they built a fence in front of him in terms of the rush. So you can't have your defensive ends go way upfield and then leave him a lane to escape. You also can't come underneath if you're an end and let him escape outside. Because Noah's at his best when he's kind of running around and making plays with that great arm. Force him to throw it out of the pocket, build a fence in front of him, get those big 6'5" and 6'6" guys with their hands up, and then play coverage in the back end. It was a great recipe last year. I think that you go with what got you there last year, and that's how you defend Noah Fifita.
That is the Cougar Board question of the week. And I believe we are ready for our next guest, who comes to our Wise Guys studio from a world away, literally a world away. She's a graduate of BYU Pathway Worldwide, a living witness as to how this program is changing lives for the better. It's our pleasure to welcome Grace Ninsema from Uganda, who is now famous because we watched you on TV over the weekend, both on BYU TV and KSL TV. Welcome to our program.
Thank you, Dave. And Thank you.
Can we call you Amazing Grace? Because that's what Dave and I, we feel like you're amazing when we want to call you Amazing Grace. Is that okay?
That's very kind. Many of my friends call me Amazing Grace.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Well, we'd like to be considered a couple of your friends. If someone would have told you when you were 18 years old that a few years from then you'd be sitting here with us in Provo, Utah, doing what you're doing, what would you have said?
I would have said that's impossible. Cannot happen. Yeah, I would never have believed that I would be where I am today if it hadn't been for BYU Pathway. So BYU Pathway is making dreams realities for all of us in Africa.
How valuable has education been to your life?
Education, well, it's relative because in Africa there's education for sure. But we find that the education that we've gotten, it hasn't helped us to get jobs. And that doesn't change our lives. And I'm telling you the truth when I say that my education, the moment I started the certificate, because with BYU Pathway, it's a certificate first approach. So you get first certificate, first year, second certificate, associates for the second year, until you're complete. So the first time I got my first certificate, I got many job offers and interviews to, start working. And I felt that that was very valuable, that a certificate alone can get you somewhere, even for job offers. So I believe that with quality education, lives can be changed.
We saw in the documentary over the weekend, Pathway to Hope, with our friend Jane Clayson Johnson. A pathway to hope often means somebody's coming from desperate conditions. And after your father died, you were forced into an abusive marriage as a teenager. How desperate were you to find something better?
Thank you. That's a good question. Thinking about it, at that time, I felt that, you know yourself and what you're capable of. And as they told us in General Conference, that we are sons and daughters of our Savior, of our Heavenly Father. And so I knew that I had something in me. I could feel that I had much more to me than that box that I was put in because of my marriage. And I remember just wishing that anybody could just see what I was capable of. And I know President Monson taught that we should always see people for what they're capable of more than for just seeing their face value.
Yeah.
And so I always wished for an opportunity to prove that I could do something. And it's through a BYU Pathway that opportunity came to me, even after going through so much.
If people that are out there around the world that are listening to the podcast or with us on the live stream tonight, if you haven't seen this documentary that our friend Jane put together, you need to watch it. It's gripping, it's compelling, it's amazing. You had to escape from this abusive marriage. Literally had to take your 4 daughters and get out of there. What were the conditions like for you as you escaped? And how did you live? How did you find food?
It was hard because when I left my marriage, I had nowhere to go. But the best place I could go to was that house that you saw, the one that had a leaking roof and stuff. But I thought it was much better to stay in that place than be in an abusive marriage. But the thing is, we didn't have food, and we didn't have running water, and we didn't have medication. And the best place I could find food was that forest behind that house. And that's how I tried to manage life with my girls. But the most powerful force in this universe, I could say, is hope. Hope is such a powerful force that it can change life forever. I know that there's an experiment that was carried out back in 1950s. It's called the Experiment of Hope. And Dr. Card and his researchers from Harvard, they did an experiment with rats. And they put them in, tins or tanks of water. And these rats, they let them run for like a few minutes. And after maybe an average of 15 minutes, those rats would give up because of fatigue. And they would take them out and care for them and warm them and love them and give them food. And then after a while, they'd put them back. And when they put them back, these rats that had taken 15 minutes and had given up and were dying, they would run. Do you know for how long they would run? They would run for 60 hours after that. And so that experiment, when I remember it, it teaches me that we have so much capability to endure, even more than we know. And, it was hard, but, the Lord always has a plan. And just like we've read in the scriptures, I will consecrate thy afflictions for thy gain. This is exactly like you asked me in the beginning. How do you feel that you're here in Utah, in the U.S.? I feel that the Lord had been preparing me to be here and to help other people in the same situations that I was in.
So after you escape and you're trying to survive, here come the missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. What was your first impression when you met them?
They were very friendly young men, and I felt sorry for them, actually. I thought, these young men are so lost. they want to teach me about Jesus Christ, but I don't think they're doing the right thing, because I was in a setting where I thought I knew Christ, and I thought I'll invite them over and teach them about Christ. But then it turned out, when they told me about the plan of salvation, I was very intrigued and curious. And when I read the Book of Mormon that night, I felt like the gospel had found me, because it felt like I'd been waiting my whole life to find the restored gospel. And I knew with all my heart that the Book of Mormon was true.
That's really interesting. You were in a really tough situation, but when you saw them, you felt sorry for them, because you thought they don't have the truth. I have the truth, until you actually invited them in.
Yes, I felt like that. And it's amazing what's happening with the youth of our days, because I love the missionaries and what they're doing, and not just the full-time missionaries, also the service missionaries. BYU Pathway works with service missionaries, and they're doing such wonderful work, just reaching out to the one. And I really respect these wonderful missionaries, just like you saw in the documentary. Yeah. There's this wonderful missionary that's caring and loving on these students. And she too has her own circumstances. It's not easy, but she just goes out of her way to be Christ-like and to love. And that's really what stands out for me.
BYU Pathway Worldwide graduate Grace Ninsema from Uganda is on the Wise Guys, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. After joining the church, the bishop calls you in and introduces you to BYU Pathway Worldwide. What did you think?
I was mesmerized, because the gathering seemed like a safe space. It seemed like a space where it was intriguing what they were learning. It felt like they were learning soft skills, and I felt, I could do more of this. So I joined the bishop, actually, that very gathering I joined first, and we participated, even though I wasn't a student then. But the following week, I asked him, can I please enroll to join BYU Pathway? And I think that's the best decision I'd made in a very long time. And I began to study, and I had no idea that my life was about to change. Yeah.
In the documentary, you talk about you're raising your 4 daughters. You're working 2 jobs. One, I think you mentioned you were spending 3 hours a day on. The other job you were spending 8 hours a day on.
Yes.
So that's a lot of hours. How did you find time to continue your education through Pathway and get this done with all of that on your plate?
Yeah, well, you see, when you are in a situation where you have nothing and you're looking for opportunity to work, you will do everything in your power to use every chance you have to provide for your family and to earn. And this is what's happening in Africa. People work more than 80 hours a day, 80 hours a week, and they're underpaid or even sometimes never paid. And so just having a job that pays you is a luxury. So having 2 jobs for me, even though it was hard, it required a lot of sacrifice for me. I felt I was very privileged. And in my church, in my branch, when I had these 2 jobs, I was like the queen of my branch.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So just they knew that I was making money because I had these 2 jobs. And so I had to do it because I knew where I was coming from, and I wasn't going back there anytime soon. So I had to make the best of it. And I tried to do, when I do something, I want to do it either 100% or I don't do it. And so I feel that my bosses, with the reports they gave, I think I tried to do a good job.
So you do it, and then you graduate. So what were those feelings like on graduation day last April when you were here in Salt Lake and received your degree in communications?
I was ecstatic. It was a dream of mine to walk commencement. I mean, who would have thought that Grace Ninsiima would be walking commencement at Ensign College? So I just felt so much gratitude. I know that we've gone through school because someone has given of the resource of, they've donated to BYU Pathway, either with their time or with their money. And I really deeply felt so much gratitude in that moment for people that have accepted to be instruments in the Lord's hands, to give their all to see us through school, because I never paid a single coin. I paid for the first term because I was just joining, but for the rest of the time, we had scholarships. We had missionaries who would say, I'm going to pay for your term. And of course, that's not what they're supposed to do, but they do it because they want to, and they know the objective of this work. And really the vision of BYU Pathway is to create disciples in their homes, in their communities, and in their nations. And I think they strive to see how they can help us become those people, disciples of Jesus Christ now in our homes. So I was just full of gratitude to be there. And I wished I could just shout out and say, thank you, everyone. But I get to do that now. So I just want to thank everyone that gives for the education of students across the world.
After working remotely for a venture capital firm based here in the United States, you're now employed as, I want to make sure I get the title, Africa Central Area Manager for BYU Pathway Worldwide.
Yes.
That's really cool. We have a link that we're going to put in our chat to your LinkedIn page where folks can reach you. How's it going? How's the new job going?
Oh, it's awesome. More than a job, it's like a calling. And I always tell people that, hey, if I was told to do this job without pay, I would do it. And please, Brother Todd, don't fire me after I say that.
Dave, by the way, Dave and I say that all the time about our jobs broadcasting. And then we go, we can't say that.
It's never worked out for us.
It's never worked out. We like to get paid. So we get it.
Okay. Yeah, I like to get paid too.
Sure.
So, but I enjoy because I get to watch firsthand how the program is changing lives in Africa. And I've seen how a mother can, at one time a mother came up to me and said, I just wanted to see who is running this program because my son has been an addict for many years. And I've tried to counsel him. I've taken him to rehab. I've tried to take him to church. He never changed. But now he does homework with his siblings. And now he's more active at home and more respectful. And I thought she was beginning to see that change in this student life because this student now had hope. He had a job and he had an education that he was looking forward to completing. And so more than anything, it's changing students' lives and affecting national economies and leadership patterns in Africa.
So from your personal experience, and we'll wrap up here, and we sure love having you visit with us. From your personal experience, what has BYU Pathway done for your life? What are your conditions like now? What's the future like for your daughters, which were driving forces in you making some tough choices at a young age?
Yeah, my kids have seen how we've struggled because they were they did know what we were going through. And they've seen how we've transitioned from having nothing to eat to what we have now. I think we're in a better place, I must say. But the thing that stands out the most to me is how they've grown spiritually because they've seen how my testimony in Jesus Christ has increased and how I feel that nothing can faze me at this point because the Lord has proved, He's proved that there's nothing impossible for Him. So my kids have grown spiritually and I feel that they're in a better place. And, I just wish they could learn to trust more on the Savior as they grow older. And I hope they can pick lessons from this experience.
Life tends to get us all to that point. As we get older, we rely on Him more. But we have to have good examples, and you are a great example to them.
Thank you. You're so kind.
So now what are you going to do?
Yeah, what's up?
When you leave this show, what's going on
now?
Oh, the future. I will continue working for BYU Pathway as long as they'll have me. And, I'm in my heart, I think education is something that's going to change the narrative for Africa. So in my small world, I try to implement that with other people that I work with. So I'll just try to help as much as I can and inspire more people to get involved in BYU Pathway because this is a mighty miracle that is happening right before our eyes. And I know that people will begin to realize the impact that the program can have and they'll continue to support it in the near future.
Well, Michael on our live stream says, you are Amazing Grace. So nice job.
Thank you, Michael.
It's great to have you here. Again, the documentary Pathway to Hope's available. You can watch it anytime on BYUtv.org, and you can get more information about BYU Pathway worldwide at BYUpathway.edu. Will you come back on the show again the next time you're in the neighborhood? Because I know you're heading back home, right?
Yes.
Hey, and we might have to just check in with you. Our podcast and our live streams all over the world. We're in Japan tonight. Sometimes we're on 5 continents, and we bring people in remote. So we might have to check back with you, and you can from home.
You can
come on the show.
Yes, thank you so much.
It'd be great.
I'd love to.
We're proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Amazing grace.
All right. Thank you for being on our show tonight and on our live stream. We love those nice comments about what Grace has done with her life. And the nature of this show is you can just get up and walk right off.
It's just a live stream. Thank you so much,
all
Grace.
the pressure has come to an end.
Wait, did you feel pressure? I hope it didn't feel like pressure.
Good.
So,
awesome.
good.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Blaine.
That's fantastic. Again, BYUpathway.edu. And I watched that documentary. It was great. Jane Clayson Johnson's a friend of both of ours, and she did an awesome job. And you can see it again on BYUtv.org. All right. It's been an amazing show on October 6th. And there were a lot of interesting things that happened on this day.
Oh, yes.
Over the course of history. And let's fire it up and we'll roll out of here.
Should we go all the way back to 1882 and start there?
Let's do it because it's a baseball theme.
Yeah, let's 1882, the first World Series game. It was the Cincinnati Red Stockings, so that's before we shortened it to the Reds. The Cincinnati Red Stockings, they beat the Chicago White Stockings before they were the White Sox. I like Sox better. So
yeah, and Reds.
It was 4-0, game 1, first game of the first World Series today.
On this day in 1893, Nabisco invents cream of wheat. The planet's never been the same since. Cream of wheat.
Yeah, instant oatmeal, right? It sort of is. I'm not.
This is a 1945 Chicago tavern owner Billy Goat Cianis buys a seat for his goat for Game 4 of the World Series with the Cubs, and they say, you can't bring a goat in here, so he gets escorted out. That's when he casts a goat curse on the Cubs.
You don't want a goat curse.
And the Cubs finally broke that when they won the series in 2016. That's how long that curse was.
So a goat curse lasted from 1945 until 2016. And that's your team.
And we're glad we got rid of that goat
you gotta get
curse.
You talk about getting a monkey off your back. They had to get the goat off their back.
Should never have brought a goat to a game anyway.
Never. But okay, now let's go all the way to 1983. The New York Jets announced that they're leaving Shea Stadium to head out to the Meadowlands and join the Giants.
They said we're splitting town.
Yep.
In 1993, after winning 3 NBA titles, Michael Jordan retires from the NBA.
But did he?
Then he came back in 95 and he won 3 more titles with the Bulls. But today was the day when everyone thought the NBA had come to an end.
Yeah, without Michael.
Michael was out.
That's right.
All right.
In 2010, Instagram was launched.
Boy, that's had an impact, hasn't it?
Major.
You can find our Wise Guys link on Instagram. 2017 on this night, the Vegas Golden Knights made their NHL debut.
And it was a hit and has been ever since.
Yeah.
They love the Golden Knights down in Vegas. 2023, Simone Biles wins the all-around gold medal at the World Gymnastics Championship, becoming the most decorated gymnast in history with 34 world or Olympic medals.
She's the best. October 6th birthdays, 1846. George Westinghouse, pioneer in electronics.
There was a Westinghouse plant in my hometown growing up.
So, Westinghouse big.
1955, Tony Dungy, the NFL coach and broadcaster, it was his birthday on this day, 1955. He came into the world. He's a good dude.
Matt Vogel was born on this day in 1970. Who's Matt Vogel? The puppeteer of Big Bird and Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog
Exactly.
here for Sesame Street News.
That's Matt Vogel.
Okay, October 6th, deaths. What we should do the deaths first and then the birthday second.
Why? Because it's a present.
But
it's honorary.
Okay, so we'll do the honorary then. 1951, Will Kellogg passed away on this day.
Will Kellogg.
Kellogg cereals.
Yeah, hello, Fruit Loops. 1961, J. Reuben Clark, government and Latter-day Saints leader.
J. Reuben Clark Law School, right?
Yeah.
So in 1989, Bette Davis, the great actress, passed away on this day.
Do you remember did you ever see, what was that scary movie, Watcher in the Woods?
Yeah.
When she was up there in the window thing, that freaked me out when I was a kid.
Who sang Betty Davis Eyes?
Kim Carnes.
Kim Carnes, yeah. She's got Betty Davis Eyes.
Eddie Van Halen died on this day in 2020.
Yeah.
One of the great guitarists in
See,
our
now he
day.
should still be playing.
He would be playing.
He had a
if he was alive.
I shouldn't say he had a hard life. He made his life hard.
He made his life hard.
Yeah.
Our Wise Guys inspirational quote of the week is from Will Kellogg, who said,
doing what's right today means no regrets tomorrow.
That's Will Kellogg, the creator of Fruit Loops.
The great cereal guy said that.
Yeah,
profound.
That's gospel right there.
So
we do want to pass on the funeral service for President Russell M. Nelson is tomorrow, Tuesday at noon Mountain Time on BYU TV. President Nelson passed away on September 27th. He was 101. That'll be a remarkable tribute tomorrow at noon Mountain Time on BYU TV.
Amazing. Thanks to Jimmer Fredette, who's always awesome when he comes on the show. Great basketball breakdown. Jay Drew from the Deseret News, who gave us a football breakdown. Pat Patterson, the BYU alumni rep in Arizona, who told us everything that's going down in Tucson this week. And then Amazing Grace from BYU Pathway Worldwide, the graduate. She really is Amazing Grace.
Yeah, it's fun to hear just real stuff.
Yeah.
And we got a load of that right there. Next week, former University of Utah quarterback and radio analyst Scott Mitchell will be on the show. We'll preview the Cougars. And I can't believe we're previewing that. It's here. Yeah. Like next week, it'll be game week of BYU Utah. Also, Harvey Scott from Redmond will be with us next week.
Yeah, where you can find us tomorrow, AFR. It will air on the BYU TV app. You can download it anytime or watch it. Stream it live from 5 p.m. on tomorrow, also on ESPN Plus. Oh, and by the way, I'm on Sports Nation tomorrow as a guest. I'll be on at 10:30 tomorrow morning as well. I forgot to tell you that.
Okay, so you'll see Blaine there tomorrow. Saturday, game days on the air at 4 Mountain Time on BYU TV and ESPN Plus. 2 hours of pregame coverage, live warm-ups from the field that you can't get anywhere else, and then the postgame show right after the game on BYU TV and ESPN Plus. And I've got some stuff in the Deseret News throughout the week that you might like.
Yep, some good stuff. Like. Yeah. Are you kidding?
You should like.
Dave's the best writer I've ever known. So there you go.
How many writers have you known?
Like I know you?
Like one?
Not very many. No, actually I've known quite,
yeah, I know. I appreciate
I've known
that.
quite a few writers, and what people don't know is not only do you write for the Deseret News, but all of these shows that you and I have done over the years, which is literally thousands, right?
It literally is.
It's literally thousands. That's not no, we literally have done thousands of shows together. Dave is almost always the primary writer of all of the stuff that we do, and he does a fantastic job. He's a great writer.
Thank you for that. And we're going to have a good AFR tomorrow.
Yep.
And by the way, women's soccer is beating Oklahoma State 2-1 with 20 minutes left in the match over at South. No, they're not at Southfield. They're on the road.
They're on the road. Let's go.
And once we're done, you can switch over to ESPN Plus and cheer them on to finish. That'd be a nice road win for them. We remind you, Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, supplies plus support. Find out more at bradyplus.com.
And by Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. See how Eddie can serve your team at eddy.com.
And by Mountain America Credit Union, empowering dreams for over 80 years. Find out what they can do for you at macu.com, macu.com.
And our Relight Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. Our Relight Athlete of the Week this week, Parker Kingston.
Boy, and he was good. And I got a great interview with him for Saturday. I hope you watch that.
Everybody tune in.
Wise Guys distributed by the Deseret News. We will see you. Blaine will see you in the morning. Then we'll see you Saturday. And, of course, we'll see you next week to kick off BYU Utah.
And don't forget to watch us on AFR tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, and AFR.
Watch that tomorrow night.
We'll
see a lot
places
this week. So
thanks, everybody, for making Wise Guys part of your life. We'll see you next time.